What's going on, everyone? So this is going to be a Stam Sorc build video for Clockwork City. Kind of trying to update my Stam Sorc build on what I'm currently running, and also, if my mic is a little staticky, I don't know what's up with this. I gotta figure out what's wrong, but something's up with my mic. So if it's staticky, sorry about that, but from what I could tell, it was fine. Anyway, this is a 2H sword and board build, and I'm just gonna kind of get into it, try to make it quick, and I'll probably do the set skills and then explain some things about it, and then go over the CP. Alright, so this build is decent for group play or solo play. I play solo mainly, but it's a build that kind of does help if you're in a group. Alright. Over the stats first. So I am in Cyrodiil right now because this is just a massive queue tonight, and I'm not gonna leave to do this. I just decided I needed to do this because I said I was gonna in a day or so, I'm not gonna leave Cyrodiil to do it. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really affect my stats. So let's see here. 3730 weapon damage, 32% crit, 20,000 physical and spell resist, and 2700 crit resist. So the only thing right now that Cyrodiil is affecting is my max health. So I have one stam glyph, or one health glyph on my armor that should be a stam glyph. And the stats you'll get with this is 23k max health, maybe a little over 23k, and a little over 33k max stam. 1100 recovery, it's like 1300 with a pot, and pots should be up all the time when you're in combat anyway. So with alchemy passives, the recovery should always be 1300, but that could change. The max health on the back bar is normally 2400 because I have health buff on my shield. So Cyrodiil is increasing my health by about 1,000 right now for whatever reason. Here, let's take a look. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. It's gotta be something to do with the campaign, because in a duel it's normally like 2300, 2400 back bar, just a little over. Regardless though, physical and spell resist is 24,000 on the back bar. Now let's go over the sets. So first set here is Powerful Assault. Health, stam, weapon damage. When you cast an assault ability, you increase the weapon and spell damage of up to 4 friendly targets within 10 meters by 157 for 10 seconds. It's 164 if it's gold. Assault abilities are mainly the ones you would use would be ideally Vigor all the time, but also Caltrops, Rapids can do it. And I'm pretty sure Warhorn as well. Magic Cadet, doubt anybody would use on a build like this. So that's the first set. Now ideally I would have a infused back bar weapon, but you know, I've had the gear, but let me tell you, opening those boxes for the weapons and shield and jewelry is not easy unless you have tons of Telvar. And I did, but I don't anymore. So I forget what the last thing I spent it on, probably Vice Cannon, but either way I got pretty lucky with the amount of boxes I had to open. So if you don't know what I mean, this drops from the Imperial City boxes from the vendor. So let's see here. Like the Impen gear you can just buy for 5k Telvar a piece, but the jewelry and and weapons, sword and shield, are from the boxes. Like, you have to, it's RNG based, so you could get anything out of it. You could get a sturdy chest, infused hands, or sword or a shield or whatever. So this should be an infused back bar. Maybe I'll trait change it one day, I don't know. And yeah, so next set here is Hunting's Rage. Crit, stam, crit, and weapon damage. So the point of this build is to get decently high damage without having to do a bunch of buffs and stuff and rely on weapon damage proc sets, because I'm kind of sick of using those type of sets while still doing a ton of damage. So I really like this set for the buff because the buff is usually like 200 depending on your weapon damage, maybe a little higher. You have really high weapon damage. So yeah, it lasts for 15 seconds. It's a long buff. And plus it's a bonus if you're with a group. And the 4-piece, like the 2, 3, and 4-piece is really good. It's really laggy in this campaign right now. Okay, so the last set is Troll King. Now you could use Slimecraw, you could use Beladrith, anything really. I like Troll King because, again, if you're with a group, you can give the buff to allies, and it also just saves your ass when you're in trouble fighting outnumbered. You can line of sight, heal, and your health will go up decently fast. And especially this being a Defile meta, it definitely helps, because Defile affects your health recovery too. Okay, so it's a heavy head, chest, shoulders, legs, and feet. 5 heavy, 2 medium. I don't have Undaunted passives, so be higher if I did, like max stats by a little bit. And if for some reason you only have like 1 heavy head and like a light or medium shoulder, then you just run 5 heavy or 4 heavy Huntings instead of 3 heavy Huntings, 1 medium Huntings, and then powerful assault, 1 on the body. Now the reason I do this is so I can get more damage, because I get the 4-piece on my front bar, which is my damage bar, Nirnhoned. Maul of Hunting's Rage, I go with the Maul because it ignores 20% of somebody's armor. I think all the weapons are good in their own way, like sword, axe, maul, but personally I like the Maul most, especially if I'm not running Fracture in my damage. Like surprise attack, shulks, puncture, something like that, depending on what class or build you're on. I think the Maul is definitely better. It's just my preference though. So if you wanted to run like an Asylum 2H or a Maelstrom 2H, then what you would have to do is get a shield of powerful assault, sword and board back bar, both, and then you would just run Hunting's Rage, full 5-piece on the body. And then you're gonna see your weapon damage drop, but you'll get the advantage of having, you know, the Maelstrom enchantment or the Asylum enchantment, which both are really good. The Asylum one's probably better, but either way, I do this for the damage. And as you can see on the right here, I also run 2 medium for the crit, because it boosts your crit a little bit. And on top of that, a shield and sword for powerful assault is going to be a pain to get unless you are willing to spend a ton of Telvar, or if you already have the set. So the only other thing I'll say here is the reason I'm not running like a weapon proc set like Ravager, Fury, 7th Legion is because, number one, you'll get more damage, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing to run that either. That could be a good way to go, but you'll get more damage. It's just, with heavy Huntings, I get the benefits of heavy. I get 2 crit bonuses, which is really important, because if I don't have 2 crit bonuses, then I'm forced to run Expert Hunter, the major savagery. because I'll have like 25% crit with a set that only gives me 1 crit bonus, such as 7th Legion or Ravager. Now with Fury's probably my favorite set, heavy armor wise, but the difference is it doesn't have any crit bonuses, so then you definitely have to run that ability. And I don't like being forced to run an ability if I don't want to. I have been playing around with it, and I'm going to go over the skills right now. I have been playing around with Expert Hunter on the front bar, and I think it's really good because it gives you a lot of crit. But Trap Beast kind of benefits more than that, and it still gives you weapon damage bonus, which is nice to have. So, yeah, that's the reason that I'm not going with one of those sets. But you could make it work simply by slotting Expert Hunter, and the damage would be more. But the damage gets pretty high in this build. So anyway, we go over the skills real quick. Wrecking Blow, Empower for 5 seconds, increasing the damage of your next attack by 20%. Forward Momentum, Reverse Slice, Stampede, Rearming Trap, Dawnbreaker of Smiting. Back bar is Dark Deal, Hurricane, Reverb, Crit Surge, Vigor, and Overload. Oh boy. So see right there, it stuns, and that's why I'm not running the stun for Dizzying Swing like I normally would. Reverb stuns. So some of these skills are interchangeable, some are not. Dark Deal, Hurricane, Reverb, I would keep those. Vigor, obviously. And Wrecking Blow, Forward Momentum, Reverse Slice. I would definitely keep those, and Dawnbreaker. So with Stampede, Rearming Trap, and Crit Surge, the thing is, so like, you could slot many different skills. Like you could slot Expert Hunter here instead, or Streak, or anything. But the reason I'm running it like this is because I have an overload bar. So like Streak, I keep it on my overload bar to kite with. Usually the overload bar is up. It doesn't take that long to get like 70 ultimate or whatever it costs to get overload on. But if, for example, I've been trying Shield Wall, I'm not sure how I feel about it on a Stam Sorc yet. I kind of like having access to Caltrops and stuff, even though the overload bar can be a little glitchy and just get you into more trouble sometimes when the game lags, which it does a lot on console, or at least Xbox. But with the Shield Wall, if I'm running it like this, then I don't have access to Streak or Trap Beast, so, or Caltrops for that matter. So with this, I'd either, and I'm using Ball of Lightning as well. You can still stun people with this if you're like right in their face, but if you're not, then it's mainly to just absorb spells. So yeah, I would either not run this at all, or I would swap it out for Stampede or Trap Beast. The reason I kind of like Stampede is mainly for Nightblades. Anybody else, it's not a problem, but when it comes to Nightblades, I hate them resetting the fight constantly, and I hate Stampede and Crit Rush. I said it before, I don't like how you gap close and you end up like kind of behind somebody instead of in their face, so you can Dizzying Swing. So you end up like a little behind them, you gotta backstep and Dizzying Swing then, or Wrecking Blow. But the thing is, with Nightblades, Stampede will slow them down and I can get to them, because they'll always come up to you, try to burst you, fail miserably, fall back, cloak out, and then end up like from here to this pole, and then I gotta chase them down, they'll cloak again. So with Stampede I can get on them, slow them down, stun them with Reverb, Dizzying Swing into an Executor, Dawnbreaker, or Wrecking Blow. So I used to running Dizzying Swing. So yeah, that's why I kind of like it. Now I could drop Trap Beast for Ball of Lightning and lose a little damage with Trap Beast, but it's not necessary, it just helps. So my weapon damage without Trap Beast is 3686, which is still really high. Now I didn't show it fully buffed, because I count the weapon damage glyph on my front bar because I'm always weaving in light attacks, which helps. So let me do that. This setup is 4,079. And with the other setup, it's 4,179 maybe, something like that. I guess I can show it. $4,134. Now, there's a couple ways to get it higher. If you're running an infused back bar, put the poisons on the front bar and light attack weave on the back bar, then it's going to be like 100 higher. If you have a gold weapon damage glyph, which I don't on this weapon, then it'll be a little higher too. And the other way to make it higher is running 3 weapon damage enchants. And then it's probably like, I think with Trap Beast on the front bar, fully buffed, without the weapon damage enchant, I'm pretty sure I was hitting just under 4,000 weapon damage with 3 enchantments on my jewelry. I think it was like 3950 or something like that. I know it was above 39 though. Point is, then with the weapon damage enchantment on your weapon, that goes up to like 44 or like 43. It's a lot. But I don't know, I'm still playing around with the recovery. Recovery does help a lot, even with Dark Deal, even with heavy attacks. If somebody pressures you a lot, it's good to have a little bit of recovery. So that's just a way to get the weapon damage up higher if you want to. So I think that's pretty much it. Now I'm just gonna go over consumables. So I'm using 3 different poisons, double poison procs, poison and minor defile, and then just straight minor defile. These are the poisons that I'll probably always use, besides like the immovable poisons that, like, I think they CC your enemy and give you a movable. I don't know, but all I do know is they take Columbine, and I already can't afford the Columbine I need for my potions as it is. This is kind of like the middle ground. This is just the full damage, and this is complete debuff. Minor defile stacked with major defile for 5 seconds. It's pretty crazy. Then Dubious Cameron Throne for the food. Essence of Detection with Vitality, which Essence of Detection sucks, like stealth detection. They just keep cloaking. Unless you have a good AoE, you're not going to hit them anyway. I hit people with my Dawnbreaker with a Detect Pod up, and they will not, they'll fall down. They won't take the direct damage of the Dawnbreaker, but they'll take the dot. So, look at this. Look at this. Look at this lag. Oh my god, it's just insanity. Like, how can you solo PvP like this? You really can't. To be honest. It's hard. Okay, so tripods. If I am just completely blown on everything, all my resources, but mainly I try to use these and try to stick to these, because this is important. So immune to knockback for 15 seconds, major expedition for 47 seconds, and major endurance for 47 seconds, and it restores 7,500 stam. So this is important because major expedition is extremely important on this build, or on any build. I had a fight with 4 Nightblades the other night, and I could say with 100% certainty I would not have won the fight if I didn't have major expedition on, because the way I had to kite in circles around rocks, they kept ambush spamming me, and if I didn't have the major expedition, I would have been able to like get around the corner fast enough before they could get close to spam me again. So regardless, they make you go really fast, so you can line of sight, get around things. The other thing they do is increase your stam recovery. 1346 with these potions up. Now if I was running the 3 weapon damage glyphs instead of the 1 stam 1, 2 weapon damage, I'd probably put a little more into stam recovery in my CP. I'd at least want to have 1,000 stam recovery. Then with these potions, I'd probably be back at like 1,100, 1,150 maybe. I'm using the Warrior Mundus in the sense to get more damage, and Hunting's Rage lets me do this without having to run the crit Mundus. And I'm an Orc. Orc's probably the best for a Stam Sorc because of the speed, plus the healing, plus the melee damage. It's a really good class all around. Orc and Argonian is probably my two favorite classes, no matter what I'm on. But any stamina class, race. Any stamina race will do just fine. And as far as like passives go, Unholy Knowledge, Power Stone, you don't need Daedric Protection, all the Storm Calling ones, all two-hand, all sword and board, medium armor for the two pieces I run, heavy, Fighters Guild, Undaunted. Fighters Guild's really important, Salt and Support's important, and Alchemy, medicinal use. The other thing I missed here too is I also use Lingering Health Pots specifically for dot builds that hit really hard with dot damage that you can't block. It stacks up, and then they'll use something to burst you down really quick, like a Mag Blade or a Stam Sorc dot build that will just keep the dots on you, keep your health ticking down, hit you with a Dawnbreaker, everything, like all the dots stack at once and you're dead. So those will help mainly with dot builds, but I don't use them very often unless they're a really, really high dot damage build, or somebody in a group is running a build like that. But even still, the speed pods kind of help more. So for CP, 37 Warlord, 2 Sprinter, 56 Tenacity, 32 Mooncalf, which this could probably go down a bit if you're running the 1 recovery on the jewelry, and maybe like get to 13% in here. But this is still a good way to have it. 37 Shadow Ward, 26 Tumbling, 40 Befoul. This 40 points into Befoul will give you 40% Defile instead of 30. 7 Blessed, 8 Physical Weapon Expert, 13 Shattering Blows, 66 Master at Arms, which is pretty much everything on a Stam Sorc is direct damage attacks. 13 Thaumaturge, 28 Precise Strikes, 46 Piercing, and 49 Mighty. And this is kind of debatable if you even need this. This is mainly just for Hurricane and Trap Beast. 38 Resistant, 7 Medium Armor Focus, 48 Ironclad, 43 Hardy, 43 Ellie, 44 Thick Skinned, and 7 Quick Recovery. Okay, so I think that's everything. I have some clips that I'll probably put in a video to show how I play this build, but mainly the whole point is to stun. It's hard to honestly show Cyrodiil because of how laggy it is right now. I don't know, it's gotta be the holiday. Usually it's like this on weekends, but it's gonna be the holiday because it's just so many people playing. Like, I should have had this queue already up a long time ago because I'm sure it's gonna be huge. Yeah, it was like 120 earlier, now it's down to 85, which is good. So yeah, the point here is though to you CC with Reverb and Dizzying Swing, and your next attack will hit harder for the Empower. It's a solid build, it hits really hard. You have benefits to being with a group to help your group, and I mainly play solo and it's very fun to play, so I would try it out if you can. And I'm definitely gonna make another build though. I have a 2H and bow build that I run and have been working on. Probably make a video for that soon, possibly a dual wield build, but maybe not. And then possibly another sword and board build, because I know this might, like, if somebody doesn't have the set, it might be harder to get. I just like to try to help people with ideas of different things to run. So yeah, that's it. If you have questions, post them, and I will try to answer them if I'm not busy, or as soon as I can when I'm not busy.